The views expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of SAUGA960 AM or its management.
Live from Toronto to the world.
Josh!
This is Josh Holiday Live. Talk that rocks.
The public needs to be informed.
Josh might surprise us.
Got an opinion? Dial 647-6YO-JOSH.
When you hear him, you're like, what?
Josh Holiday Live starts now.
Yes, we are here. It's June 10th, 2022. In just a little while, we are going to ask you to share your beefs. What we like to do here is offer you the megaphone. You can complain to your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, your partners, your spouses, and just random people on the street. But if you really want to get your beef out there and maybe have people hear it and react to it and do something about it, you can do it here. You can call us at 647-6YO-JOSH. That's our telephone number. 647-696-5674 is what it is numerically. Examples maybe, I know mine always all seem to be automotive, car and driving related. People who drive slow in the left lane, the passing lane, not the fast lane, the passing lane. If you're not passing someone, get the hell out. Slow walkers, people who stand in the middle of a sidewalk and have a conversation, those types of things, if they annoy you, give us a call and we will call those people out, those habits out. Did you watch any of the January 6th hearings last night? It was the first of a handful of public hearings they're going to have about the attack on the Capitol that happened on January 6th of last year. We knew it was bad from all the news and all the footage and all the things we've seen. We knew it was bad, but I think what last night revealed more than anything is how much intention there was there, how it was not just some random act. There was actually planning behind the scenes, and you certainly get a glimpse into the criminality and the planning that went into the attacks. And I'm curious to see what happens next, because it was quite revealing, and we will wait and see. I just finished watching The Staircase on Crave. It's weird. A weird thing has happened. It's happened to me twice in the last month or two. I kept seeing The Staircase advertised, and I put it off because I thought, I've already seen that. I saw that like 3 years ago. Why is it still coming up as a recently popular show? As it turns out, I had watched the Staircase documentary a couple years ago, and I liked it. It was kind of fascinating, and this is a dramatization of the events featured in the documentary, including reenacting the documentary being made. It's very, very meta, but really, really well done show, and still lots of questions to be asked. The acting was good. The wigs, not so much, but well worth your while. Another show that's back this week that I've talked about on this show before. It seems to have flown under the radar for a lot of people. It's on Apple TV or Apple Plus TV. For All Mankind is the name of the show. The first season basically posited that things had been different in the space race. So it's basically a history of the space race, but it's partially fictionalized. So in the first season, took place in the same time that the U.S. put people on the moon. But in the show, Russia got there first, and there's all kinds of different things with the timeline. And the way they fictionalized it was pretty interesting because they actually took archival footage of the news and of presidential speeches and those types of things and altered them to match the reality of what was happening on the show. So good actors, the period piece stuff was great, and it was just a really, really well done show. So second season, they jumped ahead from 69, early 70s into the early 80s. Again, with the same precept, and it was on the same timeline as the first season in terms of the people and what had happened in the past. And it did the 80s, and that was quite interesting. And now this week, this one jumps into the 90s. I haven't seen it yet. I'm anxious. I believe it came out today, or at the very least, it will come out this week. And I'm told it takes place in the 90s. 25 years after the initial moon landing in their timeline. So I'm looking forward to that. The movie Jurassic World Domination, I kept seeing trailers for. You couldn't miss it. If you watch any television at all that has commercials, you saw trailers for this thing, and it looks like garbage, to be quite honest. It just looks so like far-fetched, and you know, the original Jurassic Park you could kind of buy. It was science fiction, yes, but you could kind of get behind the idea that, yeah, you know what, in a world that's not that far off from ours, maybe something like that could happen. But watching the trailer for this one, it was just like a Japanese monster movie where it was just, just not realistic. And the other thing, as a movie watcher, and I don't know if it's because I'm of a certain generation, but I still am not 100% sold on CGI, the computer graphic imagery. I'm still old school. I like actual, like, physical effects. For example, Jaws, like when you watch the movie Jaws, it was actually mechanical and it was sculpted, and there was no real computer generated effects to create the shark or what the shark did. They used different tricks. One of the funny ones was they used a shark cage, but they put a little person in it and put it in the water with sharks so that the sharks looked that much bigger. And same thing with horror movies. If you're going to have blood and gore, I don't want CGI blood and gore. I want to actually feel it physically. It still doesn't feel quite real to me when I see it. Although I will say more and more for background scenery for cities, especially in period pieces or out in the wild pieces, they are using some CGI to create backgrounds. And I think because it's in the background, you buy it because it's not the main focus of the scene. I find when the main protagonist, be they beast or man, when they are CGI, I still find it's not quite there for me. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. We are taking your beefs, stuff that happens in your everyday life that annoys you. There's a chance for you to give us a call here, 6476 Yo Josh. That's our telephone number. And vent, as it were. I mentioned bad drivers, people who drive slow in the left lane, the passing lane, the fast lane, as some refer to it. People who take way too long at bank machines or self-checkouts, those types of things. Give us a call now, and we'll talk about your beefs right after this.
Hi, this is Greco Rasco from Oakville Nissan. And if you have a car in your life, and by that I mean a car, an SUV, a sports car, a pickup truck, and you want to sell it, but you don't want the hassle of doing it privately, I have a solution for you. Bring it to me. I will make you an offer. And if I end up buying the vehicle from you, we will give you a $1,000 gas card. Come and see me. There's something happening here at OakvilleNissan.com.
Newstalk, SAUGA960 AM, is the home of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Join Raw Mike Richards every Tuesday for Tie Cat Tuesday. Orlando Steinauer, known as Coach O. Coach O, how you doing? And congratulations.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, and thank you for saying my name correctly. That is rare.
You never know who'll show up.
He is Mike Morielli. We say, buongiorno, come stai, fratello? So great. Look at you. You look mint. Look at the Capelli. It's amazing looking this morning.
It's a little poofy, but, I appreciate that. It's a full head of hair. That's all that matters at this point.
Tie Cat Tuesday.
As we head to the shores of Lake Ontario, home of the steel makers and the steel breakers, and assistant coach, defensive coordinator, Mark Washington. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. How we doing today?
Raw Mike Richards has Tie Cat Tuesdays every Tuesday at 8:10 a.m. Heard exclusively on Newstalk, SAUGA960.
The roof over your head protects your home and everything in it. When it's time for repairs or replacement, choose right. Choose Better. With over 40 years experience, Better Contracting Services is the GTA's roofing and gutter specialists. Residential or commercial, we do it all, from repairs to replacement. Better Contracting Services are the pros officially endorsed by Mike Holmes. See why when you choose Better. Visit bettercontracting.ca for a roof done right. The other guys are good. We're better.
No radio? No problem. Stream us live on SAUGA960am.ca.
You all know that thing you use to send text. It works for actual mouth talking.
Josh stuff, more Josh stuff, more Josh stuff.
Get in on the conversation. Punch 647-6YO-JOSH to be heard. Talk that rocks. Josh Holiday live.
Yeah, we are live Friday afternoon, June 10th. Unless you're listening to a repeat or you're listening via podcast, then we're not live. But you can still be part of the conversation by dialing 647-6YO-JOSH. That phone line is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you wake up in a cold sweat on Tuesday night and you have a thought about the show, you can call that number and record your thoughts. It's just that easy. But now, if you're calling between 3 and 4 on a Friday afternoon, if it's June 10th, we're live right now, and we could actually have a two-way conversation. An actual back and forth. We mentioned that we want to make this show a megaphone to amplify your beefs. You can do that. Call us. We'll talk about beefs. Here's some examples. When people take 20 napkins at the restaurant and then use one and throw the rest away, the wastefulness. This one really bothers me, and I see it at my coffee shop. People who use speakerphones in public areas, at work, coffee shops. One of the biggest offenders is walking in a park. I took my dog on a trail that's made for people and dogs. You can let them off leash. It's an actual sanctioned dog trail. And there was some guy walking along talking stocks and finance very loudly on speakerphone. So both sides of the conversation were loud, and it's in the middle of the forest, and it was just really, really oblivious to the world around him. And I think a lot of, when it comes to beefs and pet peeves, a lot of it comes to selfish behavior. People who essentially think only of themselves and not of others. Seen people watch videos in the coffee store without headphones on, with the volume on. It's brutal. Yet one of my other beefs is twofold. People who don't pick up after their dog, and I think we're seeing that a lot more with pandemic dogs, new dog owners. They get a dog, but they didn't give it enough thought to realize that, oh, I actually have to do some work with this animal. I actually have to pick up after this animal. So people will let their dogs have a turd, and if no one's around, they just let it go. And there's varying degrees of it. If your dog goes off into the bushes under some trees where no person will walk, still kind of bad, but not as bad as a dog taking a dump in the middle of the sidewalk and a person just leaving it behind. I've always said there should be a punishment for that. I don't believe in the death penalty, but I might consider it for something like that. But maybe somewhere in the middle, whatever your dog is left from your dog on the sidewalk and you get caught leaving it there, you have to eat it. That would be my rule. And the other one that's kind of weird is people who will go through the trouble of putting their dog poop in a bag. They'll pick it up, but then they'll just leave it in the middle of nowhere for someone else to pick up and take away. You got to bag it and you got to take it to a receptacle. That's the full job. And I have a dog, and so it kind of makes responsible dog owners look bad. And again, it comes down to selfishness. Well, someone else will look after it. Someone else will clean up after me. Someone else will pick it up. Another pet peeve some people have is going through the drive-thru and then looking in your bag and realizing they got the order wrong, and then you have to go back into the actual restaurant to get things right. Vocal tics seem to bother some people. When I listen back to the show, I catch my own vocal tics, and they bother me for sure. That's one of my beefs. But there's certain word crutches that a lot of people use. You know what I'm saying? Am I right? That are unnecessary. And when we talk about that, one word that you hear on a lot of reality shows is like, this is like my favorite thing I've ever seen. But the weird thing is I catch myself using it as well, and I catch it's become a part of our vernacular. It can be overused, and you hear that a lot on those reality shows and from certain people. And I do catch myself doing it, but it's strange how it came into the vernacular, because if you watch a television show, or if you watch interviews, or you go back maybe 10, 15 years and it just wasn't a thing to say like. People just spoke in regular sentences and didn't use the like term. It's like, like this. Business pet peeve: women who wear jewelry that clink and clack and makes noises while they're at their desk or keyboard. That's some of the pet peeves. You can call anytime and leave your pet peeves. We'll always air them. Give you a personal megaphone, put it on the radio, put it on the pod, those types of things. Ashley Madison, it's the website for cheaters. People go on there, I guess they're attached, they have husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, and they want discreet encounters with people outside of their marriage. Well, during the pandemic, a lot of new terms came into the vernacular, the vocabulary, but there's some new terms that have come from Ashley Madison that happened during the pandemic and are now used, and I'll let you in on that secret. Snacking. What is snacking? It's to try out having more than one sexual romantic partner. A super spreader event. That is a threesome during COVID. An anti-waxer is a person who has embraced natural body hair during the pandemic. A home opener. It's the first threesome a couple hosts. Double masking is to cheat not just on your wife, but on your affair partner as well. Sex bubble. A close-knit group of people who only see each other for sex while staying safe from COVID. Riding the wave is to build sexual momentum with multiple affair partners. A booster is a sex partner you see every few months to keep the momentum going. Lovesick, couples who contracted COVID together. And a false positive, a person who presents themselves better online than in person. So those are some of the Ashley Madison code words for that match up with the pandemic. I don't know if you've flown lately, and I talked in recent weeks about traveling on Air Canada, which it's weird because it was only maybe a month and a half ago, and I didn't experience any of the problems that seem to be happening at Toronto Pearson Airport these days. Air Canada is canceling flights. I think this week about 10% of Air Canada flights were canceled because the airport is so chaotic. I didn't experience any trouble at airports on either leg of my journey. It was all pretty smooth sailing. I did notice a difference in flying from Canada to the U.S. on Air Canada, masked and direct, which was nice. I traveled on the way back on American Airlines with a stopover, and that was a bit of a nightmare. But according to a flight attendant, here are some of the biggest mistakes airline passengers make. Blocking the aisle. When boarding, it's polite to step into your row and allow other passengers to go by. If you've flown, you've experienced this, especially when they board the front of the plane first, then everyone else has to wait for these people to fiddle around with their suitcases and block the aisles. It slows everything down. Get your junk, get in your seat, and sit down. This also happens mid-flight. If you're sitting in your seat, don't spread your feet or legs into the aisle. The cart's got to get by. Using headphones is a mistake that airline passengers make, according to flight attendants. When you use them during the flight, that's fine, but when you're actually communicating with a flight attendant, maybe take them off or pull them out so you can hear. It's already hard to understand conversation with the airline hum. Please. Conversely, you should use your headphones when you are watching a movie or listening to music. And I would say I haven't experienced music or movies without headphones, but I've certainly experienced parents giving their kids a tablet or games to play with the sound on, and that is highly annoying. And then the final mistake that this flight attendant wants you to know about is don't try to hand a used air sickness bag to a crew member. They don't want it. Put it under your seat and ask for an extra bag to wrap it. So those are some flight tips. If you won the lottery, First, you would have to buy a ticket. But if you won the lottery, would you tell your family? And would it make a difference how much the prize was worth? You'd actually be surprised at what percentage of people would keep the lottery win secret from their family.
It's time to get back to enjoying life. And there is no finer way to kick off the summer season than to join in the fun at Mississauga's first ever Creative Craft Beer Festival, June 17th and 18th. Sample festival brews, ciders, and the very best of local food and live music. All festivities are being hosted in the restored World War II Heritage Small Arms Inspection Building at 1352 Lakeshore Road East. Come join us and raise a pint and celebrate the start of summer, June 17th and 18th at the first annual Mississauga Craft Beer Festival. Tickets are limited. Go to creativehub1352.ca to book your tickets now.
Are you looking for a way to make a difference in your business? Check out your local Board of Trade or Chamber of Commerce. These community-based business organizations are positioned to help your business in many ways. They are the voice of business that advocate for you every day at all levels of government. They give you access to business associates, government officials, and a host of programs designed to boost your bottom line. For more information, call the Mississauga Board of Trade at 905-273-6151 or visit online at www.mbot.com.
Are you ready to be inspired? The Mindset Mentor Show with Tanya Kolar, that's me, returns to SAUGA960 AM Thursday at 3 p.m. Join me for an uplifting hour that will motivate, inspire, and challenge you to strengthen, condition, and optimize your mindset so you can live your best life. Get ready to channel your best self every Thursday at 3 p.m. on the Mindset Mentor here on SAUGA960.
Imagine having over 100 TV multi-language channels at your fingertips. Imagine having over 100 multi-language radio stations at your fingertips. Now, imagine an app that lets you watch or listen to all of this amazing entertainment whenever or wherever you want. Now, imagine it's all free. Ibaba is the reality in mobile entertainment. Download Ibaba for iOS or Android. Turn imagination into reality at Ibaba.
Stream us live at SAUGA960am.ca.
Something bugging you? Need a vent?
Where the is Josh?
This is your unfiltered megaphone.
When you hear him, you're like, what?
Dial 647-6-YO-JOSH now to be heard. Talk that rocks. Josh Holiday, live.
Yep, we are live. It is Thursday. It is Friday, June the 10th. Give us a call, 647-6-YO-JOSH. If you won the lottery, would you tell people? Tell your family? Tell your friends? I don't really play the lottery. Although I suppose sometimes I fall into that trap of like, well, it's a really big jackpot. Now maybe I'll play, if that's a lot of money. Even though in the grand scheme of things, 10 million or 70 million, it's both great. But I've never been hit by lightning. And the odds of winning the lotto big are greater than getting hit by lightning. So I realized that, probably I'm just giving money away. They did a survey of people playing the lottery and what they would do if they won. And according to this, 83% would never tell a person about their winnings. And I get some of that because you read stories about people who have won the lottery big. And in most cases, it's not a fairy tale ending. In a lot of cases, people squander the money and it goes away very quickly. And the other thing that it seems to do when you look at these cases is cause divisions and resentment with family and friends. People come out of the woodwork and all of a sudden they're asking for money for this, for that, for everything. And if they don't get what they want, then they become resentful, and certainly it puts the winner in a very precarious position. And it's not just friends and family. You see stories all the time of people who come out of the woodwork with various sob stories or issues that they're having, and they manage to track these people down who have won the lottery and send them letters, visit them, annoy them. And there's been sort of debates. I know there was one woman who even took it to court saying that she didn't want to be shown publicly collecting her winnings or named. And I believe in Ontario, if you win the lottery, you're obligated to let them share your name. If I won a large lottery, I would get everything in order before claiming the money. I would make sure I had a lawyer. I would maybe think about how I was going to protect my privacy. I would do all number of things to be prepared as best I can, because I think if you win the lottery and then within the next day or two you pick up the money and everyone knows about it, you're going to get inundated with desperate people trying to get in touch with you, trying to get a piece of the action, as it were. And I certainly would fight to not have my winnings and my name shared publicly, because I think that's one of the biggest problems. Sure, your family and your friends may find out, but as soon as it's public, yeah, you're going to get inundated. What do people do with the money? Most people have a hard time making those decisions, but 10% of people say they'll quit their job on the spot once they find out they win. 3 out of 5 would leave within 6 months of winning. That's very kind. They're going to stick around to make sure someone's trained to take over their position. So yeah, 83% of people will keep the winnings a secret. 88% would donate money, giving a slice to charity or relatives in need. 2% of people who responded to this survey said they would walk away from their partner once they knew they're a winner. So all that's they're stuck in this marriage, and all it's going to take to get them out of it is some extra money. If the average person won $1 million, the survey finds they would share about $283,000 with their partner. However, if it was the other way around, the average respondent expects their partner to share more of the money, which makes sense. What are the top 5 things people might do after winning the lottery? Number 5, play video games full time. That seems like such a waste of money. Play video games full time. Not get out and explore the world. Use that money to travel, to have new experiences, to make life better. Play video games full time. Number 4, write a book. People won the lottery, they would write a book. There's a lot of people who think that their life is book worthy in terms of a nonfiction autobiography. But apparently, number 4, what people would do is write a book. And here's more of a generic one. Number 3, they would become an artist. And that's a hugely vague thing, because you could be an artist and still have a job. You can be a poor artist. You can be a rich artist. I guess maybe in a sense they could quit their day gig, their job that they do just to be able to do their hobby. Say, if you're an actor or whatever, you are doing waiting or waitressing and you want to dedicate full time to doing your art. That would make sense. Not have to worry about a Joe job just to make ends meet. You can just focus on doing artsy things. Number 2 is pay off debt. Surprised that's not number 1. Just get all the debt out of the way, and then moving forward, you're all in the clear. The number 1 is travel the world, which makes a lot of sense. I think if I won the lottery, I would spend a lot of time traveling. I would also invest in sort of fun projects, make little movies, and just have fun. I would get a chef, make myself some decent food, not have to order in so much. So that's what people would do. If you're in an office and the winning, someone at the office won the winning ticket, say it was $1 million or at least $1 million, more people will expect to get a piece of the action from coworkers, 58%, than their own family, 38%. If you do end up splitting the winnings with someone else, most think their coworkers will shortchange them by $20,000, and 49% think their lucky coworker would forget to share the jackpot. It feels almost like more trouble than it's worth. Here's kind of a weird story and creepy for sure. A woman went to the dog park, was walking her dog around, and some dude came up and gave the dog a pet. And not so long after, a couple hours later, she got a text from this dude saying, "Hey, I got your phone number from your dog's collar. Thanks for letting me pet her. We should hang out." And the lady didn't respond, and then the guy's like, "Hello? Why do you even have your number on her collar if you don't want people to text you? What the F? Such a tease." Clearly, this guy does not understand the purpose of dog tags. Dog tags are not meant for dating or sharing your text phone number. It's for if your dog gets lost, they can be returned to you at that phone number. There's a woman who came across her friend's husband on a dating app. So a married woman, this couple had been married for 4 years, and the friend of the wife was swiping away on Bumble and saw the husband. And she was uncertain whether or not to tell her friend, the wife, that she had seen her husband on there. I don't know. I feel like if I knew a married couple and I ran across the wife of one of my friends on a dating app, I think I would tell the husband. Because it's not like an innuendo like, "Oh, I think I saw," or "I think." It's pretty clear. And I don't think you would be shot as the messenger, as it were, because you're actually giving facts. But this woman was apparently not going to share it because she said it's not her business to tell. Which is strange. This surprised me. There's a study that came out that said adults sleep better together than they do apart, than they do alone. Because I find in those rare occasions over my life, the very, very rare occasions where I've had a partner sleep over in the bed, I find myself kind of waking up more often and being a little bit more restless. But I suppose if you got used to it, maybe it wouldn't be as big a thing. Because the same thing happened with my dog. My dog sleeps in my bed. He's not very big. He's like a 20-pound dog. And I thought, oh, this is going to be hard to sleep, and I'm going to have lack of sleep and stuff. But I do find it's almost comforting to have him hanging out there. So University of Arizona tried to sort this out, sleep and mental health, and they said adults who share a bed with a partner or spouse enjoy better sleep compared to people sleeping alone. And they say sleeping with a partner is associated with lower depression, anxiety, and stress scores, and greater social support and satisfaction with life and relationships. So that sort of makes sense. And I think that goes beyond just sleep. I think if you're in a couple or in a relationship like that, you're gonna have less depression, anxiety, and probably more satisfaction. I don't think it's just a sleep thing. Conversely, sleeping alone is associated with higher depression scores, lower social support, and worse life and relationship satisfaction. They do say, however, that parents who let their kids in the bed at night, that's associated with more stress, which is what you would probably conclude on your own. So I think I've made up for not having a partner by having a faithful dog keep me company while I sleep. This is a crazy one. I can't imagine this happening. There's a woman in Alberta, moved from Australia to Canada, dream job, great relationship for 4 years. But then she was walking in a parking garage, and it was under construction, and one of the walls wasn't finished, and she fell straight down onto the pavement. So she went to the hospital, and she was in a coma for 4 weeks. The doctors told her mother that there was only a 10% chance of her pulling through. The parents had faith, and they didn't let them take her off life support. And within about 3 weeks, she started to show signs of improvement. And then when she finally woke up, she had amnesia. And once she started putting things back in place and was able to remember day-to-day things, she was given back her phone. And what greeted her wasn't great. Her partner of 4 years, who'd been living with her before the accident, had ghosted her. The guy blocked her on social media and moved in with someone else. She opened her phone. This is the quote. So I opened my phone, going to message him, when a message pops up from this woman that says, I am now with the partner's name. I have moved him out. He's now living with me and my son. Please do not contact him. And this guy has not contacted this woman, and she's in a picture here. She's quite pretty. After like 3 weeks, this guy hits the road and is already with another woman. That's insane. And I understand why guys get a bad rap for being that way. What do you say right after sex? I can't remember. It's been so long. Probably thank you. What about you? 6476, yo, Josh. What do you say after sex? Well, they did a survey, and it differs for men and women. Women, number one is, you're amazing. That's what they say. Number two, don't fall asleep, which that makes sense because guys right after tend to somehow get a little sleepy. Number three, give me a cuddle. Number four, I love being with you. And the number five thing women say right after sex is, where's my phone? Guys, on the other hand, are are quite different. Number one is wow, which that makes sense. Wow. We're pretty simple that way. Number two, when can we do that again? Number three, this is sad, but in a lot of cases true. I've got to go. Number four is I needed that. And number five, and women would probably be mad that this isn't number one, checking in to see if the lady had an orgasm. Did you have an orgasm? So those are what men and women say after sex. It is Josh Holiday Live. You can call us anytime. 6476 Yo Josh is the telephone number. I think we'll end here today with we'll play a little game. We'll play chicken or the egg. Which came first? I will tell you two things, and you have to figure out which was around first. So the first one is Facebook or the iPhone. Which came around first? If you said Facebook, you're correct. Facebook came out in 2004. That was 3 years before the iPhone. Here's one that goes back a number of years, a number of thousand years. Control of fire or the wheel? Fire or the wheel? Which came first? If you said fire, you're correct. Fire was about 400,000 years ago, and the wheel came about 394,000 years ago. So they were pretty close, but long ago. Here's one for Harry Potter people. Which came first? Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets or Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire? I have no idea. But if you said Chamber came first, you're correct. Chamber came out in 2002, 3 years before Goblet. Classical music lovers. Here's one for you. Which came first? Who was born first? Bach or Beethoven? Bach or Beethoven? If you said Bach, you got it right. Bach was born in 1685, a full 85 years before Beethoven. So they didn't exist really in the same timeline. Here's one for you biology majors. Which came first? This is almost a birds and bees question, but which came first, birds or insects? If you said insects, you are correct, sir. 300 million years ago, insects came around, and then 130 million years later, birds. Okay, which came first, Disney World or Disneyland? I knew this one. I've been to both. Disneyland actually opened first in 1955 in Anaheim, California. And then 16 years later in Orlando, Disney World was created. And Disney World, much bigger now. Okay, Keanu Reeves question here. Which Keanu Reeves movie came first? Speed or The Matrix? If you said Speed, you are correct. Speed opened in 1994, 5 years before The Matrix. All right, another quick game here for you. True or false? Coffee is the most consumed manufactured drink in the world. If you said true, you would be wrong. Tea. Think of India and China. A lot of tea consumption in those countries. Okay, next question. True or false? Eggs need to be refrigerated to keep. If you said yes, you're incorrect. They do not need to be refrigerated to keep. True or false? The Porsche logo features a horse. If you said true, you are correct. Here is one that may or may not be myth. Hair and fingernails continue to grow after death. If you said true, you're wrong. They do not. Though folklore often says that they do. Dogs are colorblind. True or false? If you said true, you're wrong. They do see color, though not as vividly as us. They see a different spectrum of color. All right, final one here. A woman who... Oh, that's not a question. Nope, that's it. Okay. Hey, if you want to get in touch with the show, you can do so anytime at the telephone number 6476-YO-JOSH. Even if the show is not live, that number is on all the time. You can call it, leave a message, something you want to say, agree, disagree, whatever you want. Get in touch via that phone number, 647-696-5674. If you want to listen to old episodes of the show, you can go to joshholidaylive.com. If you want to get me on Twitter, it's at Josh Holiday with 2 L's. If you're on Instagram, it's unfunny. And if you want basically every social, every email, all of that stuff in one place, you can go to the website SAUGA960am.ca, and you'll find links on this show page to all the different ways to reach the show. Have yourself an amazing weekend.
Turn on the lights, open the shades.
The show's over, but the conversation continues. On Twitter at Josh Holiday, on the web at joshholidaylive.com, and hear missed episodes on your favorite podcatcher. Talk that rocks. Josh Holiday Live.
see what happens next, because it was quite revealing, and we will wait and see. I just finished watching the Staircase on Crave. The weird thing has happened. It's happened to me twice in the last month or two.
Time to get back to enjoying life, and there is no finer way to kick off the summer season.
Lottery wins secret from their family.
Raw Mike Richards has Cat Tuesdays every Tuesday at 8:10 a.m. Heard exclusively on Newstalk.
People who take way too long at bank machines or self-checkouts, those types of things. Give us a call now, and we'll talk about your beefs right after this. Hi, this is from their family. From their family.
Something bugging you? Something bugging